And they can hear you too, Candice. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Talk is Cheap. I know you can't see our faces, but this one is just like a prelude to our podcast, Talk is Cheap. And I'm your host, Carrie T, Miss Carrie, baby. And I have my co host on the phone. Her name is.
I am Candice, one of your favorite social workers here.
Yes, and we are both social workers here today. So, Candice, what do you do?
So I am a social worker who does like the case management background of social work, pretty much helping with like discharge planning and finding resources for the population that I work with right now are teenage boys who are currently at the facility receiving treatment for substance use.
Okay.
And so I help with making sure they have their resources when they leave and discharge to go home. And also I help with continuing facilitation through their with their parents and making sure that they're good throughout their treatment while they're there.
Okay, cool. And I do some similar as well. I'm a mental health case manager. I also work with substance abuse and doing recovery and coaching with substance abuse addicts. And I'm also on my journey to become a public speaker for the mental health community. And we're both in MSW. I'm pursuing mines, and Candice just graduated from UTA. So, Candice, what do you like? What do you like about your job?
What I love about my job is to see them come in and then to see the outcome. Whether it's them leaving because of they either were not being able to complete treatment, meaning that they were able to find other resources to help benefit them, but then also the other outcome of like they came in a certain state, but then they were able to overcome their sobriety and able to use those tools on a faith-based, because the facility is faith-based. So it's also a beautiful thing to see them mature within just the 90 days or 30 days or however long they've been there. So being a part of that process to be like a support for them and to continue to encourage them, it's very rewarding, which I can see how some people on like the social work end are like, how is that rewarding to see that? But I feel that it's something that as you go through the motions of doing social work, meaning facing every obstacle that can come with it, but then also seeing the pros of it, it makes what I do a reward every day.
Yeah. So yeah, with both of us being in social services, we've been knowing each other for over 3 years now. You know, it's always rewarding to always see our clients doing better. So are like comparing the two fields, do you enjoy working with the, mental health and substance abuse, or more of the substance abuse field?
I guess in comparison with the substance abuse, there is a tangent of mental that does cross over into it, because whenever you're using substances, your mind is not in the normal state that it was in when you were sober. So the mental side of it, I mean, they both have their challenges of helping them come to terms to a one they can trust you as a person. Mm-hmm. So I can definitely say I wouldn't have like a preference on either. It's just as long as I'm helping them and helping them through their challenge that they deal with in mental health and that they deal with in substance. It's a challenge in either population.
Okay. Yeah. It's just a great thing that what we do as social workers and just helping the community and stuff. And we just want to really become aware or raise mental health for you guys in awareness, and just always promoting, good coping skills, good methods within the community, and just our experience with our clients is just a big eye opener for us, and just making us more knowledgeable and just expanding on our expertise. So, little things about mental health. Y'all know that May is Mental Health Month. And so every year, the goal is to fight stigma, provide support, educate the public, and advocate for policies that support people with mental health illness and their families. Mental health awareness started in the United States over 50 years ago by the National Association for Mental Health, discussing awareness that's more like 18% of our population or Americans are suffering from depression, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and the realities of living in their conditions. And we always, as social workers, we always like to help them reach their goals and advocate for this community, and just always practicing self-care and more wellness in our community as well. Wouldn't you say that too, Candice?
Correct. I do. I agree completely with that.
Yeah, and also just aiming to draw attention to what's affecting this population the most, which is suicide. Candice, how do you work with clients that have suicidal issues, or have you ever had to?
I'm sorry. What was that?
Like, have you ever had to work with clients that have suicidal issues?
I have. I've had experience within my in grad school where I had to pretty much, I was doing a counseling session, of course, with under supervision, but when the client was coming out of the fact that they already have a plan set, that just upon that firsthand experience of, you read about it in books, you read about it, like, you hear about it during, like, your lectures, but to actually be face-to-face with someone that was actually battling this, and them, and the fact that she was young, it was to a point to where it was just like, okay, wow, very eye-opening to see that this is not, it doesn't have an age, and that sometimes it doesn't have a signal of them saying, I have a plan, I have this, set time of when I'm going to do it. It doesn't necessarily always that. So I definitely feel, that being something that us as social workers need to be aware of, that it's something that is real, it's something that does happen, and it doesn't always have a face to it, meaning you're not going to always know that that person that you counseled or you just had a brief conversation with was going to not be there the next day because they already had a plan entailed of what they were going to do. So just having that awareness of that it can happen, but then also to understand that if it does happen and you were not necessarily quote unquote prepared for it, to not mentally beat yourself down as a social worker, because we take on a lot as it is when it comes down to listening to everyone's problems and listening to everything that they just want to disclose in us. We absorb it amongst our own problems that we have at home or within our community or within our jobs. So I can definitely say working with clients that have that is just knowing our self-care boundaries of whenever you do receive information or have witnessed it. And that's just coming from our own personal experience, and to advise for future social workers or current social workers out there.
Yeah. Really good. And I just want to hit on a couple of topics right now. Some of the biggest challenges in mental health. A lot of people don't know that there's different kinds of mental health illnesses. So this making you guys aware of those, mood disorders, anxiety disorders, personality disorders, psychotic or schizophrenia, eating disorder, trauma related, and substance abuse. The hardest mental illness to treat is borderline personality disorder. Due to fewer and less severe symptoms that this disorder shows, there's always improvement for functioning people that have this disorder. So I know a lot of people in our community don't understand um, what these disorders encounter, or how to cope with someone that has it, or how to engage with a person that has a mental illness. And then the thing is that mental illness is a lot around in your community, in your own population. Just from my experience, like Candy said, hers, we're working with suicidal clients. You never know how many people have an illness or suicidal about things, or the ones that don't even have an illness at all that are suicidal, that just are struggling to cope with everyday life and just getting down in depressed mood because something drastic happened in their life. That does concur as a challenge with mental health clients, or just people in our community, period. We go through these things in life, or we feel alone, or we feel depressed, and that brings us down to where we say, well, we don't want to be here anymore, or I'm gonna go kill myself, or it's a cry for help. I'm in a lot of, like I've shared with Candice and a lot of my viewers and my supporters, I'm in a lot of mental health groups. I'm in a lot of mental health professional groups. I'm in a borderline personality group. I'm also in a trauma group here on Facebook. So shout out to you guys, because I just love the engagements that I get from these groups. I do weekly open discussions with you guys just to see how, how you guys are doing, how you guys are feeling during this coronavirus thing. And, that's what I just want to step into. Candice, how have you helped some of your clients during like the coronavirus?
I'm sorry, say that one more time. I can hear you.
How have you helped some of your clients during the coronavirus?
Pretty much working every day, educating them on just being aware of, whenever they are, discharging everything from the facility, that to pretty much, continue the social distancing as what we've been doing here at the facility, because, yes, you're going to want to go back and hang out with your friends, going to go back, be with family, and just understanding that it's nothing to take lightly. It's something definitely to take serious, and to understand that when you can't gather or you can't do anything, it's not necessarily to hurt or offend anybody. It's just really just being safe and trying to be realistic of the fact that, it can transfer and that it is a big deal. So just being safe and being aware. So continuing to educate them based off of like their symptoms that they're having, making sure that they stay tuned in like with news, and just staying up to date. And so outside of work, pretty much continuing to keep my family safe and keep myself safe. And even though I feel like I repeat myself daily on like, hey, you have your mask, hey, you have your gloves, hey, when you're going to such a store, like, hey, like, it can become annoying, but at the same time, they can know that we care and that you are saying it, and that just making awareness that it's nothing for you to feel ashamed to voice your opinion on it. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Like, don't make yourself feel like you have to obligate yourself to do something just because their viewpoint on, COVID is different than yours. So just making sure that, my peeps and stuff around me are good and comfortable with it. If you don't feel comfortable, then hey, I'm cool. I want to be. So,
yeah.
Just making sure that is a standpoint that I continue is what I'm doing.
Yeah, totally agreed. It's just like with us being called frontline workers, we always feel the need to, not just, we don't necessarily put on a persona, but we play in this role that we are the protectors of our community, and just being leadership roles, and that's just even small things, as in like at my job, I wear my mask, but they also gave us masks for our clients as well, to just tell them that it is important. Wear your mask, let's social distance. And then this was a big struggle for a lot of my clients as well. Like you were saying, that they just didn't understand like what's going on, why I gotta stay at home. Because some of them, this is their coping methods, to be able to go out, to be able to walk their community, to be able to visit some of their family or friends that they're close to. that they necessarily couldn't talk to for that day, because this was a lot of times where people got lonely and a lot of things were going on in household. Child abuse cases went up, domestic violence went up. So this is a lot of things that people are, you're seeing, but are you really taking heed to what's going on in your community? And also, even one of my clients, she got anxiety from hearing about the coronavirus too much, and people just want to play it off and say, "Oh, something's wrong with her. She's going crazy." But it does bring on or trigger someone that's going through something anyway, And it really just opened up my eyes to say, wow, and I just kind of watch myself to talk to her and say, hey, how are you doing? Or to go around and I didn't even speak of the virus with her. She just like, it came to one point where, I'm goofy. So I had my mask on and I was just like, I gotta sit in the car while you get your shot from the nurse, because you know what's going on, so it was just in our way to kind of protect her. So, and I've been doing that for the past couple of months. A few of my clients get injections because they are or have been on drugs. So the injection weans them off of the drugs and ensures that they're taking their medications, and also helping them mentally. So just ensuring that, being an advocate for her and being there for her, I have had, like, I've sat outside her house each month for 3 hours to ensure that she's okay. And that I also didn't spread the virus to her by coming into her space because she was at home. So yeah, we have had to make these adjustments as frontline workers, or essential workers, to help our clients even cope with the coronavirus and what's going on in the world today. So a few of the most dangerous mental health. I don't even know if you knew this, Candice, but I didn't know. And I just was, it was really good, like, researching some of these things. So I won't lead anyone in the wrong direction, or even with myself, because, like I said, I didn't know some of these things, but it was very educational and an eye opener for me that the most dangerous mental illness is the eating disorder. We always think that, oh, this person's psychotic, or he having bad thoughts, or he could kill us or stuff. That is dangerous as well. But the eating disorder is the most dangerous because due to anorexia, it's a person that's hurting themselves that doesn't think that they are, basically. They become bulimic. They're not wanting to live, so they rather starve themselves. Or they also see it as a certain trend. I want the Kim Kardashian body. I want to look like Beyonce. I see Adele got a new body. So the anorexia is one of the main things in they're the most dangerous in mental health that are hurting people in the community. And it's always common in 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds. We call them the Generation Z. They like trends and they like to attach to certain things. So, like I said, they look at celebrities and say, oh, I want to look like her, not knowing that she had plastic surgery done or she had breast implants done. And it just like a weight on them to be like someone else. So 1 in 5 anorexia deaths is due to suicide. And that just comes from them not eating, them starving themselves, them trying to fit this persona of, oh, I'm too big, and not even seeing that they're skinnier than the next person, or not feeling like they're confident in themselves, or their self-esteem is low. Candice, have you had any clients that were anorexic?
That I have not. That is one of the things I have not encountered with. I'm going to just say yet in my social work career, because I can definitely say I have come across some things I did not think I would experience so early on in my career. But I have definitely been aware of it as it being something that I personally experienced before even graduating school. It was with my undergrad, and it was one of the residents that only knew her within passing,
Mm-hmm.
but always was working out. You know, it was something that we were like, oh, okay, she just works out a lot. You know, it's something that she likes to do. She goes to class, she comes home, she goes work out, everything like that, but never, you know, knew it was actually something that was actually a disorder she was experiencing.
Yeah.
It didn't come about of her having this disorder until, of course, you know, we're all at the gym, and then we see an ambulance come up, and she's, you know, being carried away.
Wow.
And, you know, as rumors do, they passed around, pretty much got the whole gist of what it was, and her own roommate was not aware. Cause, I mean, she didn't know. She just thought she was going to go work out. I mean, granted, when you looked at her, you didn't notice anything, but you didn't really start to pay attention to her until you noticed, like, the size from like when we started school to, you know, after she came back and everything from the hospital, like, she was very, very small. And then that's when it hit me, like, oh, this does happen.
Yeah.
You know, and, you know, getting her background history, you know, she worked hard on, you know, being her size because of her history of having obesity within her family. But she just talks about, oh, I worked hard to make sure, you know, I lost my weight and eating healthy and stuff like that. But then it came into the transition of binging.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Or that need of like excessiveness.
From that to binging.
Yeah, or that need of like excessiveness. She's excessively working out, and she doesn't even seem like, girl, you look good to. Hold on now, you know, not saying that we do that, but you know, you can notice certain things that maybe she didn't notice, or like you said, it made you more aware to say, no, she's okay. Somebody probably even came to
you. When we all found out about it, I was just like, it was just the naturalist. I don't know, wanted to say like, this naturally I compliment people, and she was a beautiful girl, beautiful. Like, literally could step out, have on like cute shorts, cute top, no makeup, just natural, and just have that natural beauty. But she was a beautiful girl, but she didn't feel that she was enough.
Yeah, my personal experience with it is similar to that, but it was actually one of my clients' moms. My client was 3 years old, and he has a mental illness, and he had IDD, developmental disability, and learning disabilities as well. He was 3 years old, 4 years old, and he couldn't make a sentence. He couldn't talk, but we learned that he kind of liked to like mimic you or sing. He would try his best to. But just working with that client over the last couple of years was very interesting. But then I also see that we're a backbone to our families. So mom came to me and told me about my client's older sister that was having an eating disorder. So that was, I got my eye opener. Like you said, you had yours in undergrad, but I have mine. Like, so I feel like I was so late in life, or not even naive about things, but just kind of like opening up, like, what, that, like you said, that actually happens, like, what? And just like we watch things, but we never think about things happening in our community. Like, we see things on the news, we see things on TV. I watched a movie about anorexia, a girl that's battling bulimic and anorexia. But just hearing about it, that was the first time that I was just like, oh my, like, what do you do? And she was like, yeah, my daughter doesn't eat. She was like, and then it was the daughter, it was like the middle child. She had 4 children. So it was like one of her middle children. And she was the oldest girl. And she felt like she didn't get attention a lot. Mom worked a lot here and there, or was always with her little brother that was the baby. Because we know 3-year-olds need a lot of attention, sometimes more than a 14 or 15-year-old. So she's just thinking that everything is okay with them at home. But it became more personal when her daughter's in her face like, oh, no, I don't want that. Like, what kid doesn't want pizza, doesn't want chicken nuggets, doesn't want this? Oh, no, I don't want any of that. I'll just eat a piece of fruit, mom, or I'll just go do this. And she's just like, what? So, yeah, it really does take a toll on you, and just the different things that you see in this community with like different disorders or what people are going through. And you know why? It makes you wonder why are things going like that with them, or what are they thinking in their heads?
Right.
So, what are some methods that you think we practice as social workers to help our individuals?
I pretty much go off of methods that not only I feel like I live by as well, meaning like, so from ethical standpoint, as social workers, we have faith-based. And with my new area of where I'm working, being able to use those methods of being able to pray and to be able to testimony is something new for me, able to use now, which I'm highly, highly grateful to be able to do this now. Whereas, in the practice of what we do, in most companies, you can't.
Yeah.
And so far as faith-based praying and making sure that they feel comfortable to utilize that as a coping method or as just in general of everyday life. And then on a different ethical standpoint of just knowing what you know.
Yeah.
That's the biggest method that I make sure I instill, knowing what you know and don't necessarily go off of assumptions.
Yeah.
Do your research or find your resources. Educate yourself on your resources. So that way you know that you can not only, when someone's not there to help you do it, or if I'm not always there, you know how to go look for it.
Exactly.
So that's one method I definitely help facilitate with my clients to make sure they know how to go get it whenever they don't always have that one person to help them all the time.
Yeah. And that's why I want to start this podcast. I came to you almost a month ago, a few weeks ago, like, hey, I got an idea I've been sitting on. And that's where it just comes from, just thinking about the resources that this community needs and how we also educate ourselves on advocating for them and being there for them, And like I said, that's why I want to start this, so I can make not only awareness, or that we can come together and make awareness, but show that, anything is possible, and just helping people reach their dreams and knowing that someone cares for them. I always think that that's a really big part of our jobs as social workers is always building rapport with the public and advocating for them, being that backbone for that family. A lot of our families we've seen don't have that connection with people in their community, or come from different states or different countries, and they come here and they're needing help because they don't meet that, that bar line per se that the United States has, or Americans fit into society, and just helping them be more aware of the services that are out here. So as we wrap up, I just want to give out a little resources that I found that are needed for this community. And if you're going through anything, we always send our passion and our concern for you guys and our condolences that everything is going to be okay. I know it may not seem like it now, but everything will be all right. And just know that we're always here for you as frontline workers, as social workers. We take our job very seriously, and we enjoy working with this population. Anything you want to say, Candice?
I definitely want everyone to tune in and utilize this as not only like a place to be open to, give advice or kind of see insight upon situations that we face. And also, like you said, like to receive resources that we can take back into our community or take back into our profession to give to our clients and families that we work with every day. So I look forward to working with my girl Carrie to bring this podcast to life and to be a good source for our social workers in our community.
All right, great. So yeah, like I said, as we wrap up, I enjoy working with Candice. She just shouted me out now. But yeah, I love working with my sister. She's amazing, and it makes me strive harder to do my job every day effectively and complete my degree and help other social workers. Because it is always an amazing feel as well, just helping people and being there for them. So as like I said, as we wrap up, I'll put up these numbers that I have. They are on the tablet. I'll type them up next time. This is just our trailer. But these are some of the resources that we give to our own clients, and just like I said, being there for them and these organizations as well that are here for this population or anyone that's going through anything in life. Um, Always feel free to reach out and call these numbers. So thank you for tuning in to Talk is Cheap, none cuts, none censors. And if you would like to be a guest, the email is down at the bottom, podcastofdallasinfo@gmail.com. I also want to say thank you, to all of my supporter and all of our supporters. And just meeting with you guys in the next few weeks will be great. And just having the guests that I have interviewed, from counselors to therapists, also other mental health social workers. I even also have a line of, recovering addicts that's ready to share their stories. Also, I have different individuals that are dealing with mental health illnesses out in the community, and they're going to share some methods of how they cope with their disorder in their life. So it's just going to be a great podcast. This is just our trailer and just tuning in, and it was amazing. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.